Good afternoon, and I just realised all our names are the wrong way around because we didn't change our names, but welcome to the Context Needed podcast.
Hey.
I am Ollie, apparently. Ryan is Kyle.
I'm Ryan.
Ollie is Ryan. But welcome to the Context
Quickly,
Needed
change
podcast.
your name, Ollie.
I can quickly change that to fix that. You keep going. I'll fix it.
Well, we're just going to give a quick warning before we do fully go into this podcast. I'm the one that hosts this. I've been having a few issues with my internet service provider with having really terrible upload speeds. I can already see we're dropping quite a few frames. If it continues to get worse, we will be closing off the live stream, so you'll be able to just listen to it on tomorrow at 8 o'clock from any podcast area, and also you can watch it on Monday on YouTube. But with that said, how have you boys been?
Very good.
Ryan seems good.
Yeah.
He's wearing cat ears for some reason. Are those Razer headphones?
These are Razer headphones, these are.
I was gonna get a pair of those for Danny, but they're so expensive.
Do you want to know what I find funny as well?
What?
The headset itself is exactly the same headset, like speaker-wise and makeup-wise, as one of their cheaper headsets. You are literally paying for the ears.
The ears are like detachable ones, so these aren't even... Where are their ears from? Are they Razer? They're Razer. Did they come with a headset? No.
They do a version that has the light-up ears.
I've seen the RGB Plague version of those.
Yeah, I was going to get Danny that set for shits and giggles, but it's really
How much
expensive.
did you pay for the headphones?
I
Did
think
you get
the
them for free
RGB
off
one.
that uni site? No.
I think the RGB ones are like 150 quid or something daft like that.
They're over £100.
Yeah, it's just...
They were over 100, which was a no.
It's like, no. I mean, like, I think these headphones, which are like, they're like studio mix ones. They're not the greatest studio mix ones because they're not 100% flat rate, but they're mostly flat rate. But even these weren't as expensive as some of those Razer headphones. It's like, these are better quality.
These were 50 quid, apparently.
These were £35 like 16 years ago. And they're really, really good. And they're really hot. You can't buy them anymore. And if you do find them for sale, they're really expensive. They're like the OG Sony studio monitors, but the good ones. It's got the most obnoxiously long cable. Like, I've got this weaving through boxes and everything. I've still got
that's because
outrageous surplus of cable.
Yeah, it's because it's studio style. They're designed so that they can reach around to the back of consoles and stuff. It's the same with this one.
Yeah.
This cable, I think, is like a 3 or 4 meter long cable, and
I
this
think
is
it's like a 3 or 4.
That's why
It's ridiculous. And it's threaded as well to have the 3/8 jack on it.
Yeah.
So, but they're good,
Same
to be
with
fair.
this.
Like, they were hiding in a box range. So you might notice on the yokes, this side's black and this side's silver. That's because it broke on this side originally, and they were in my drawer.
Yeah. Well, so I used to have a different cable for when I used to work with these at Butlins, and I'd use one cable for when I was watching the TV, which was this one, the longer one, which would reach the TV. But having this one while you were standing at the console was actually a detriment and broke the cable at one point, because basically on the console I used, the headphone jack was literally right next to you. So you'd have a massive excess of lots of cable. And I had it once where literally, I think it was just before a show went live, while I was doing final checks, I took a step and I stood on the cable, and it just bent the cable in the actual adapter. So it just completely ruined the cable. And it's like, I only got halfway through my checks. I need some headphones. So like the girl who was doing monitors had to run out with her headphones, so I could just. No, it wasn't even her. Sorry, it was the head of sound at the time had to run out with his headphones, and because I don't like using other people's headphones, I'm literally there with these headphones like. Yeah, there's sound coming through. I'll deal with it later. Because I just wanted to make sure this signal was coming through correctly for like final checks. It's like
what Carl doesn't tell us, he was actually playing jump rope with the cable.
There's enough excess on these. You could do that.
You really could. Well, after that, when I got the cable replacements for these, which were I think like 15 quid a cable, it was kind of expensive. I got this one, which is the long one, which I use for my PC, but I do have in my like audio gear bag. It's a coiled one, so I think like old phone lines, which worked perfectly for that area right next to me, because it would still stretch the whole console, but it wouldn't sit by my feet, causing me to step on it.
Good call with that.
Yeah,
Pretty cool. But yeah, I had to repair these.
I think the thing is, like, there's a lot of people that would just get rid of headphones like the ones you've got, but
they could have been thrown away. Like,
yeah,
any other person would have thrown them away. The pads were all like disintegrating. Obviously, you couldn't wear them because this was broken, but functionally they were fine. So I just got some new pads and 3D printed a new yoke. Like, well, it was before I had my printer. A friend did, but like, and I fixed them. It's like, oh yeah, they're still like just as good as I remember them. They're so good.
The thing you need to think with, like, especially like the studio quality ones, it's the drivers that are the important bit. The actual drivers for the sound, and if they're still working, try and use the headset because they're better quality. Like, if these drivers go, then I will look at changing them. But if everything else still works, I will look at getting repairs, because I do like these headphones. The only other headphones I'd be looking at, I think they're called DT220s, and they're like, oh, we're in the right order.
Yeah, I did that before.
Sweet.
Have you just realised?
It's just moved. No, it's only just moved.
I think it took a while for it to tick over to us. But yeah, so yeah, but they're DT220s, I think they're called. The headphones I would look to replace these with. And I know they're like really, really good, because they were what we used at Dambuster for the audio guys. So I got to hear through them, and they were just, for the price you pay, really nice and crisp. Yes, obviously, if you really, really want to go in depth, there's definitely better headphones. But for how much they are, I would get them every day.
Yeah, these ones are, considering the age of, I mean, like, they don't. What's the model actually? They are MDR V300s. Because I remember Tom had a pair of these in black. I think it was like the MDR V150.
Yeah.
And I picked them up in like HMV, like a really, really long time ago. Like, I remember we were in the caravans when I bought these. That's how long ago it was. But yeah, they're just like, they were just in a box. I bought a second set, and actually Danny uses them now, because I bought a new set that looked like a kind of newer successor, and they just weren't quite as good. And I thought, well, let's actually see if I can fix it. So I did. Basically,
I think
it's like, shit.
It's the thing that bothers me about gaming headsets. Like, loads of people get these gaming headsets that like to talk about pristine quality sound, and it's like, you're not, though. You've got incredibly heavily bass boosted sound, with most of them really shit microphones, like really tinny, awkward, horrible sounding microphones.
Horrible.
That was my proper Nottingham accent coming out there.
You can go Nottingham, or you can say it's French. Horrible.
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 But yeah, like, I've always found as well, like, the only benefit gaming headsets have, and I will always say this, like, a good gaming headset will be comfortable much longer than studio headphones.
Yeah.
So that's always the issue with studio headphones, is because, let's face it, studio headphones aren't really designed to be worn for a 5-hour gaming session. A lot of the time, you're only really using them as reference headphones in studios anyway, because it will literally be, I have my reference speakers, my mixing speakers. If in a perfect world, you'd have like 2 or 3 sets of speakers, and then these, so you can reference between the different speakers for the sound.
Yeah. I don't use headphones like that anymore. I use earphones, but I used to use those the Logitech G Summits. They're like original wireless gaming ones, but I never used the wireless because it was shit on it. But it was surround sound, and I think that was the one selling point of the headset, which made it better, because I could play DayZ and be like, he's shooting from that direction exactly, rather than he's shooting from over here
somewhere on my right.
Yeah. I did enjoy having the surround sound in the headset, but since then I've not used anything other than just Sennheiser earphones.
I do like Sennheiser stuff, I've always
I like Sennheiser.
For like my like everyday walk around in-ear headphones. I would use usually Sennheiser.
That's why I always wait for.
Remember how we said my dinner would turn up while we're going?
There it is.
You guys speak amongst yourself about headphones. I'm going to mute my mic while this one goes mental.
Okay. Well, he can't hear us. He can hear us, but he can't say
Let's say
mean things about him, and he can't respond.
You suck, monkey.
He's so gay.
He smells. Monkey smells.
I am monkey.
Hey, back in cage, monkey.
Get in your cage. Mute yourself again.
I still love that meme you sent me where it's just like Godzilla explains all of his details and then King Kong. So basically I am monkey.
Yeah, I'm monkey.
A
very powerful power.
Oh, there's a dog behind me, and there's food coming.
I can see Lassie. Oh.
Seen as
what's in the bag?
About speakers and whatnot. Do
you
want to talk about this? Oh, do you want to talk about my food?
I want to know about what food you got, to be honest. Like, I've already had my dinner. I had pizza, and I want to know what you've got.
Okay. Well, I have a can of cherry Coke.
Ooh,
which is
that's not going to be enough.
That's the best cola. It's burgers.
Burger.
Hello, I'm Gloria Burger.
What kind of burger we got?
So I don't have much fancy stuff on mine. Mine's just literally. I don't have cheese on my burgers.
I like how we both pull the exact same face.
Disgusting monkey!
I just don't like having cheese on my burgers. I find it ruins
the
taste of the meat.
I've got not cheese, it's plastic.
Well, yeah, it is plastic in it. What's your thoughts on burger sauce? Burger sauce is
I'm okay with burger sauce, but I prefer.
I've never tried it.
It's literally ketchup and mayo. That's pretty much all it is.
Yeah. If you two come to Comic-Con in London for a day, I'm going to take you to this burger place. If it's still there, there's this burger place just around the corner, and they do a burger like set you can get, and it's fucking delicious. I absolutely love it, and every time I go, I have to have it at least once. So nice.
The best thing about this takeout place is the fries. The fries are actually just really nice from this place.
Come on, we need a full in-depth review. Show us the fry.
They're just standard fries, but it's one of the only takeout places I know where as soon as they take the fries out of the oil, they salt them straight away rather than when they've been sat for a bit. So the salt actually correctly goes into the fries.
Yes, I want fries now. I like fries.
I just love that. I want fries now.
I've already had my dinner. Like you've already eaten and you're not hungry, but you just want to eat. That's where I am at the moment. I've been just scoffing down rich tea biscuits because there's nothing really to them, so it's like I can eat them and not feel too bad about it. But I'm hungry, man.
It was the meme I saw during first lockdown that really made me laugh, and it's the one where the guy's pointing at himself in the mirror. And it's just it's a guy pointing at himself in the mirror. He's like, "You're not hungry. You're just bored. You fat fuck."
Yeah, that's pretty much where I am. Yeah. I just want to eat because it's something to do.
I'm at that stage as well at this point. I just want to eat.
Or if it's not food, it's just like I don't know. I want a hot chocolate or something like that. Just Ooh.
See, but then the thing is, if I had a hot chocolate, I'd just dunk like a gazillion like biscuits in it.
Oh, you don't dunk in hot chocolate, Ryan? What are you doing?
Yeah, with like a chocolate bourbon. Yeah.
No, you dunk a chocolate bourbon in a cup of tea.
No. Hobnob.
I will say that I am not one generally for dunking biscuits in drinks. There's only one biscuit I dunk, and that's Biscoff into coffee.
But that's the posh way.
Speaking of Biscoff, if you eat them, have you seen the Biscoff creams?
No, I didn't know that was
basically Biscoff bourbons, and they are.
I'm invested. I want some now.
They're so
better than
good.
sex.
Honestly, they are crack, like, especially dipped in coffee as well, because the biscuit's really thin. But I guess it's almost like it's like a Biscoff Oreo almost, but obviously the cream in it's like Biscoff. I think they're vegan as well, which all right, but like
doesn't mean anything to me.
The biscuit's really, it's
a selling point.
Yeah, I guess if you're into that kind of thing, I suppose. I guess more people can eat it, which is good. So, I mean, it's a biscuit. Like, I wouldn't have thought it would be anti-vegan anyway, but I suppose with the stuff in the middle, there might be.
It's not got it's not got that grade A status of being able to say, "Did you know I'm gluten free?"
Yeah, Did you know I'm a gluten free biscuit?
I'm air.
You may as well just be eating paper mache.
Oh yeah, basically. But those biscuits, honestly, get them, dip them in coffee. You got to eat them quite quick because the biscuit's quite thin. So you got to dip them, give them about 1 to 2 seconds for the coffee to permeate into the biscuit and the filling, and then eat them. And they are.
I was gonna get the packet of them and the coffee red hot and just pour them both.
Pour it in the packet.
Pour them both into my mouth at the same time.
Is it as risky a dunk as the dunk of a rich tea? Because you see, I don't ripping it out with rich tea.
That's another thing, because I'm a weirdo. I just like eating rich teas. Like, I don't dunk them.
Rich teas are a good biscuit, yeah.
I love them. Like, they're so bland. It's like, but I like fairly bland tasting things.
To me, they're a middling biscuit, mainly because there's nothing wrong with them in any way. But it's just like, grabbing hold of them and having a couple are great because they're just a quick, nice little crack biscuit. I prefer, if I had a cupboard of rich tea or digestives, I'd usually grab the digestives first.
Nah, see, I'm a rich tea guy. I'm the other way round, where there's nothing wrong with digestives. I don't dislike digestives, but I prefer rich tea.
Yeah.
And if I was to eat a digestive, I prefer the plain ones to chocolate. I don't know why, I just don't like chocolate digestives.
I'm just a bit of a biscuit slut and I'll eat any type of biscuit.
I'm pretty much the same, but there's definitely a tier list for me of biscuits. Definitely.
Okay. My alternative to dunking though is I used to I'd take a nibble of a bit of it. I'd take a nibble of a bit of biscuit
in my throat.
I'd take a nibble of a biscuit and then I'd drink my drink and then be able to mush it together. But I used to sit there as a kid and I'd have a pint of milk nearly every night and I'd sit there and eat half a packet of biscuits while I was watching YouTube.
Yeah, see, I'm really weird as when I eat a rich tea, I'll eat segments off it until I've got a semicircle with a shape on it. Then I'll bite into that piece. I've got a crescent, and then when I get the crescent, I just really slowly nibble it, in one go. I won't eat it bit by bit. I'll crunch it into my mouth, slowly until my mouth is just full of biscuit crumbs, and then I just eat all the crumbs that I get from crunching that little thing. At some point, in a minute, if you want, I'll go get a rich tea, and I'll walk you through it.
I know exactly what you mean. You'll get it like that. You'll go.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Don't know why. I don't know why, but
I'm not gonna lie.
It's comforting.
I don't have any of these little special ways of eating it. I'm just gonna eat the fucking biscuit. Monkey eat biscuit.
Certain things, I have certain things where I'll have a certain ritual of how I will eat it. Some things I will packet of crisps. It's crisps. Just eat it. A burger, I wouldn't think. Again, I'll just eat it, but. Pizza, I will generally, just eat it, except for when it's from the place that we had from tonight, Dough and Oil, where I'll get about halfway through a slice, and then I'll fold what's left of the slice over, because the reason is, there's usually about a half-inch slice just for the crust that is all sauce, and it's quite strong sauce, quite tangy. And it's not as nice on its own as with cheese. So what I do is I'll eat about half the slice, fold the remaining cheese over onto that sauce threshold before the crust, and then I'll eat it that way.
I love the sauce threshold.
The threshold of sauce between cheese and crust.
Now, are you crust guys? Do you eat your crust?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the best part.
Cool. That's okay.
On a good pizza, it's the best part.
On a good pizza, yeah. My dad doesn't eat crusts anymore. I don't know what's
dad
wrong
doesn't
with
either.
him.
Well, you need to start.
I think I might need to get him checked out.
No. What you need to do is go. You should be eating that. Put stairs on your chest.
I do. I say it every
That's
time.
literally exactly what all the older people used to say.
I just end up eating the crust. I'm just the one who sits there and eats his crust.
Yeah, especially on like a properly good stone baked pizza. Where, the crust tastes like really good bread.
Yeah, I like it with every now and then I'll get like a barbecue sauce or something, and I won't dip all my crust into the sauces, but I'll have like one bite of my crust with some sauce, one without, just so I can get that really nice bready taste kind of thing.
See, what I miss was Domino's used to do. There was 2 bases they used to do, and I miss them both in equal measure. One was the double decadence, which was 2 very thin, crispy bases with the garlic and cheese sauce between. That was just key.
I never tried that one.
That one
they don't
was
do
like,
it anymore.
Yeah, that one was one of those
amazing.
pizzas where it's like, I normally have like a large pizza, and then you'd have a double decadence large, and you'd get halfway through and go, oh yeah, I'm basically having 2 pizzas.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, a medium double decadence would fill you as much as a regular large would. Like, they're insanely filling. But, so that was good. But also, Domino's used to do the barbecue stuffed crust, which was literally just a stuffed crust with just a bit of barbecue sauce in it, and it was amazing. They don't do it anymore.
I find, like, because you can get the stuffed crust, like, ready to just, like, freezer pizzas, and you chuck them in. I find that they're always overfilled with the like barbecue or cheese, and I find there's too much.
I don't like most stuffed crust. Like I don't like those garlic stuffed crusts.
I prefer a standard crust.
It was overpowering. There was
You just need a basic stuffed crust.
Yeah, I don't like the cheese one because I like cheese as standard, but melted cheese, when there's too much of it for me, is overpowering on everything because it's quite a strong taste. That's why I don't have it on burgers and stuff like that, because I find the cheese overwhelms the rest of the flavour for me. But
that's why you need the right kind of cheese, so it doesn't, because it's not real cheese, so it doesn't taste of anything.
Oh no, I can taste it, it bothers
thing.
me. But it's, it was also the texture, definitely is all the texture. But there was, they do... I'm trying to remember what company it was, whether it was Chicago Town or something. They do like the Tiger Bread pizza crust, but they
Chicago
also
Town do the Tiger Bread ones.
They've got that, but they also do where the sauce,
the stuffed one,
sauce
in the crust,
is in the crust, and that is amazing.
I've had that. It is pretty damn good. Yeah, the only one I had was frozen though, so it wasn't quite as good. But I think like an oven ready one would have been better.
What are your thoughts on cold pizza, and which takeaway pizza place would you say is your favourite cold pizza? I must admit, I think Domino's pizza cold the next day is better than in like when you have it hot.
I have to reheat pizza. I always reheat
pizza.
Reheat
it?
See,
I reheat, and I've got a technique for that as well.
with me, I don't like any of the takeout pizza places cold or reheated. But
do you know?
You know how you can get like the stone baked frozen ones from Tesco? I can eat those ones cold the next day, and I think for me it's because the takeaway ones have so much more grease on it. All I can taste the next day when I try and eat it is just the grease, and it puts me off, especially after working in places like McDonald's. Excess grease and oil really puts me off my food.
Yeah, no, I get that. There's one place near me, and it's the shit. I don't know how they're still open. It's a pizza place in Shrewsbury. It's been open since I was little. The pizzas are shit. I think the only reason they're open is drunk people getting pizzas on their way home from a night out. They're like the bases are like cardboard. They use cheddar instead of mozzarella, so like they just taste all weird.
Cheddar.
Yes, a nice tangy pizza.
But they do one pizza which is quite good called the Mexicana, and it's basically like an enchilada. The way I can describe the taste is like a beef enchilada pizza. So basically it's like a chili beef pizza, and it's quite spicy when it's fresh, but when it's cold or slightly reheated, it loses its kind of, because I don't like spicy things, it loses its bite just enough that it's perfect. That is one of my favourite reheated pizzas, is a reheated Mexicana, because those are amazing.
That's probably the only pizza that's keeping them running then, is just that one pizza.
Oh no, people love them. Like, honestly,
it'll be like I said, they'll be in the right place.
It's drunk people.
For the drunk people.
They are in the right place for it. They're right by loads of the pubs in town.
Talking about the takeaways, sorry.
Go ahead.
You'll know this place, Ryan. There's a place called Sarries in Derby.
Yeah,
it's in Derby
I've heard
Town
of it.
Centre. Now, when I was in uni, everyone used to go to Sarri's. Everyone went to Sarri's, and I fucking hated Sarri's. I fucking hated it with a passion. It was horrible food, greasy as fuck. I thought the place was dirty, and the owner just seemed a bit fucking weird to me. So I used to go elsewhere.
Yeah.
Now, it's just come out in the news. Sarri
I've
has
literally
actually
just
been
pulled this up.
arrested for sexual assault.
And nobody's surprised.
And it was just like... and everyone liked this place. Like, everyone went to this place. And I just always thought, something just ain't fucking right with this place.
Nah, mate, I can remember walking past that place and it just gave off bad vibes. I'm like, I would never eat it. Like, it's not like a snobby thing. It's just, it looked fucking grotty. Like, you know, you see places and they just look grotty.
It was the student hellhole.
That place near me, it says I'm just looking through reviews now. And it's one of those ones. It's only going because A, drunk people, and B, there's just a weird handful of people who are probably like, I don't know how long it's been there, but like my parents love it. And I think it's one of those ones where like everyone in Shrewsbury loves it, except like the younger people. Like you go through the reviews, oh, I've been having pizzas from here for 20 years and it's amazing. It's like, they are fucking shite pizzas. Like they are, like I would honestly say they taste worse than like a Tesco value pizza or something like that.
Yeah.
Like they really are.
It will be
shit.
the people that it will be like that was the first pizza place in Shrewsbury. So when the older generation had them, they was like, "Oh, this is pizza. This is exotic. This is cool," and they thought that was how pizza was meant to be. But now there's
it's like
actual
all my
pizzas
parents'
coming out.
generation. But it's like you look at the reviews and it's just like, oh yeah, it took 3 hours to get my pizza, and like all the staff are really rude and just like, honestly, they're just utter wank. But I will concede that the Mexicana is the only thing they must be set. And funnily enough, the first review I saw when I just looked then was the Mexicana's amazing. So I guess that must be like one of those things that they're somehow doing right and it's keeping them afloat. But holy shit, like, I'm just going to quickly look through reviews now and I'm just going to see what people have to say. Let's have a look.
I love this fucking news reports on Derby Live.
Oh, about Sarri's. Funny.
I went to the Sarri's one and I just found like, these are the like 24 people you need to, if you know, you should be telling the police where they are because they failed to go to court and they've got arrest warrants out on them. But then there was another link to like one of their posts, and where is it? This is how many people have been caught dogging in secluded lane. Oh, there's a video. Where is it? Where are they dogging? Arleston Lane near Stenson Fields. You've been called out if you're dogging in Arleston Lane.
I was expecting you to click on the link and the Pornhub amateur theme played. Doom, doom, doom.
This video is shit. Oh, it's fucking hell. Get a picture of this dogging spot.
Yeah, let me jump up and down while filming on my phone because that's a smart thing to do.
It's basically where it's like. It's near the power.
People don't know how to film.
What were the reviews like then?
Bad. Well, the average is like 4.3 out of 5, but it's, again, I think it's just because there's so many people who just like it for sentimental value. I think it's almost like if it was a pizza from a place that primarily did like kebabs or chips or something like that, it would almost be accepted because it's like, well, it's a chippy, but it's literally just a pizza place and they're just awful. But it baffles me that they're still open.
I really fucking hate going to like kebab shops to get a pizza now because it's like I've
never had a kebab pizza.
Oh, I used to have them because it was all there was really nearby for us that was like a good, well, I say good at the time, pizza. But now it's just like I can't have them. They're way too greasy. But we're quite lucky. It seems like one of those like catch-all takeaway restaurants where it's like with good burgers, chicken, kebabs, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if they do kebabs though, but I can't remember the name of it. It begins with like a C near us. I had it a couple of weeks back, but they're like one of those. They're a place where you can actually get thin crust pizza from them as well. So I was like, okay, well I'll try this thin crust one, was actually a really bloody good pizza. And like, you know, when you're like eating the pizza and you see the box underneath, and when you get it from like Domino's and Papa John's and kebab shops, it's just sodden with grease. This one wasn't. It was like barely any grease on the paper underneath, and it was just like, you know what? I'm okay with this. This is good. And they do fucking curly fries, boys.
Ooh, I do enjoy a good curly
fry in a while. See, do you know what though? You're saying like the grease in like Domino's and stuff. When we get Domino's from
our Domino's.
We don't have grease. Yeah, it's like there's a little bit of grease, which I expect because it's takeaway. But
on the top of the pizza, there's usually a tiny bit. But that's like it's full of cheese and stuff.
The thing you got to think, Domino's is franchise, so they'll all be.
But surely you're getting yours from LA.
Pardon?
Down Long Eaton. You're not getting yours from Long Eaton as well?
I haven't had Domino's since for a very long time, actually, because Becky doesn't like the sauce.
It's pretty decent. Oh, yeah.
Becky, I don't like that tomato sauce on their pizzas. Yeah. See, it's not great.
I used to like Domino's, like, and I'd have Domino's now, but it's because Becky doesn't like the sauce. We go to Papa John's instead. I'm not saying the grease is an issue. Like, the grease isn't an issue for me. The grease is an issue from the kebab shop ones, because it's like you pick up the box and it's like a fucking wet paper towel.
Yeah.
Domino's has grease in them, but it's only like actual grease from like the meats and the cheese kind of thing.
Yeah.
There used to be a takeaway in Bogwash down the road from me. I can remember once my cousin had come to look after us, and he was like, "Oh, we'll order some takeaway from there," and we ordered it. And I've never felt like it was pure grease, like all of it was just grease. And I've never felt as sick as I did like the day after when I was a kid. And then like a few years later, they got done and taken down for like having rats in the kitchen and shit, and just like bad hygiene. And the actual shop is still there to this day, but it's just empty. Like, it's not even been sold on. It's as if they're still paying for it, but they've just not sorted it out, which is very irritating because it used to be
they might own the plot, like they might actually own the building, but the company's been shut down, so they've just held onto the building for now.
It's very irritating because a very good DVD rental place used to be there, which was actually like there for my whole childhood mainly, until like obviously DVD rentals disappeared. Yeah.
Oh man.
Just briefly going on to DVD rentals and stuff. I used to fucking love those, because it was like
same.
We used to go every Friday. I think I've talked about it with you, Ryan, previously, where we'd go every Friday.
Yeah, I think you said it on the podcast once.
Yeah, we'd get 3 DVDs and 2 games. And I just remembered something I used to do with the games. So whenever I'd rent the games, 9 times out of 10, after I'd beat them, because a lot of the time, because I'd have it for a week, I'd beat the game ridiculously quickly. I used to beat games like in a day or 2. I'd finish that, and then I'd try and look for cheats to have fun with them. So what I'd do is I'd complete the game, go and look for cheats, write the cheats down on a piece of paper, and then just leave it in the slip with the because where we rent
the instruction books. Yeah,
they'd have the instruction books. So I'd put the paper in there because no one looked in there from the store. So I know someone else who's played this game, who looked through this booklet, got my cheats that I would leave in there, especially for people.
That's cool. That's very cool. We used to have, obviously there was Blockbuster, which is everyone had, and then there used to be a place, it wasn't far from our workshop actually, called Choices, and I actually remember renting, I think it was Zelda Wind Waker. I think that was towards the end of them being there, because I think that was around the time they started dying off a bit. But I remember, I'm trying to think of some notable games I remember renting. I had Soldier of Fortune on the original Xbox. That was horrendously gory. Like,
oh yeah,
I think that was like I was only.
That one was one that I think got banned in certain countries. I think it was banned in.
I can believe it. Australia. Like, given. At the time, like, the most violent games were otherwise was maybe like GTA San Andreas, where like, or Vice City, like you'd shoot someone in their head and their head would pop off and like blood would spurt out, but that was about it. Like, it wasn't gory.
The head would just disappear.
Basically, yeah. But on that, I remember it was like, it was almost, it wasn't, but it was almost like voxel damage. So like if you shot someone in a certain, like, it's basically they must have just modeled damage in particular areas. Like you could shoot parts of people's heads out and shoot arms off and stuff. And I was like, holy shit, this is awesome.
I think it was one of the one of the first games I saw was to do that one was that, but there was I think there was another game as well around the time that used similar technology, but I can't quite remember which one it was.
There were a few. I'm just looking at which one it was. I think it was Soldier of Fortune 2
I think the one
played.
I'm remembering was like you play as a riot cop, I think it was. And by riot cop, I mean the American stop resisting riot cop who's shooting you at the same time as saying stop resisting. It was a very, very brutalized variant of the riot cop. But the whole big thing about the game was you had a riot shield that would block everything. So you could, like, there's no cover in this hallway. I'll get the riot shield out and I'd walk forward and it would actually put, like, damage on the riot shield where you would get shot. And one of the fun things to do was just walk up to guys and bash them in the face with the riot shield. And it would just cause, it would actually put, like, blood on the riot shield where you've hit them with it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at, funny enough, I'm just looking it up. It said that it pushed the boundaries of depictions of gore, and it was like quite realistic. But yeah, I just remember playing it. Like, I didn't even. It sounds daft. Like, I guess it wasn't even that overly kind of. It wasn't overdone because I didn't notice it for a while. And like, you know, when you're bored and you just start shooting the bodies on the floor, and I did that, and then like the arm came off. I was like, oh, okay, but like. I'm trying to think how old I would have been. I was probably like somewhere between 6 and 10. I wouldn't have been very old. Yeah. I can just remember it was on original Xbox, but wow, I remember renting that.
But you was that old when the original Xbox came out, Jesus.
I'm trying to remember. What year did it come out? Was it 2002, 1?
Let's have a look.
Give me a sec.
I don't know. I wouldn't have been 6 because it wasn't out. The PS2 came out when I was 6.
2001.
So I would have been like 7 when it came out.
It was the same time as the GameCube. It was like the GameCube's kind of their answer.
Yeah, because we had a GameCube as well. But I'm trying to think how old I would have been. I mean, if that's the
GameCube was 2002. It came to
a bit later.
Soldier of Fortune came out in 2002. It might have already have been out for a while though. So. Being conservative, I was probably like
7 or 8.
8 to 10. I guess
the Xbox would have been an answer to the GameCube because the GameCube was released in 2001 in Japan, but then obviously they brought it over.
What I remember reading about it, it was more of a kind of a fuck you to the PlayStation because I think Microsoft were trying to do stuff that Sony were trying to do with certain companies, and obviously the other, because originally the PlayStation 1 was meant to be a connection with Sony and Nintendo to make like a CD disc variant for the Nintendo 64, and then Nintendo just kind of went, nah, fuck it, we'll do something else. So Sony went, okay, well, we've got all this tech we've worked on, let's release our own. And that's where the PlayStation came from. Going into games, actually, sorry, just like how you were saying, there's that thing you did where every now and then you get bored and you just shoot the bodies on the floor. There's another one. There's another one that I always do, which near enough always gets me killed, and it's just I will just walk up to things that may be explosive and just go, will this explode if I punch it? And use a melee attack on it to
shoot it,
or to see if it'll explode. And I've done it so many times. I think I did it once when a friend was looking at me. And the thing is, I don't say, will it explode? I'll just stop and look at something, and I'll have a moment of.
And then you could just see the cogs turning.
Yeah, and I did it. I think I was playing Destiny at the time, and a friend was round, and they had like these power cells on the floor, and I just. It exploded and killed me. And my friend just looked at me like, you seriously thought about that for a second then, didn't you?
Oh, man.
So basically, monkey.
Monkey smash. Monkey smash power cell. I think it's like thinking about like things I used to do on games that would just be killing time doing absolutely nothing. And it's like back in the days of Halo 3 on like random Forge maps, and I would literally just run and jump around the map in loops. I don't know why. Like, I just did. Did you ever used to like go looking for Easter eggs?
So I didn't. I wasn't really an Easter egg hunter, but I remember one game where there was like 2 games which I spent a lot of time where I'd just put music on and just explore in one of them, and the other one was a Tony Hawk's game, so it would just be... No, it was Skate, sorry. So I'd just put the music on, go to a very specific spot, set a marker, and then just
session it over and over.
Do that one
song. Skate was so good for that. I love Skate.
The one I liked to explore in, funnily enough, I'm actually going to be playing on stream at some point soon, because it was jack free. Because you had the ability to get like light wings in that and do a lot higher jumps.
PS2 to play that on?
I'm going to be playing it on the PlayStation 3 port because the PlayStation 4
I was going to say
is fucking dog shit.
I really, really want to play the Jack series again because that was like one of my favourite games, but you can't emulate it because it's just you can, but it's just full of like graphical, like his eyes are all black and all the textures are all fucky.
But that's basically what happens in the that's what happens in the PlayStation 4 version. Because when I was looking, because there's the PlayStation 3 port which has 1, 2, and 3, and then there's the PlayStation 4 port that has 1, 2, 3, and the racing game.
Right.
So I was just like, well, which one's the better version? Because the big thing for me with ports is it playable and actually a quality playable game? If that's why all the original Ratchet games I was playing on PlayStation 3, they have good enough ports. There's some graphical glitches, there's some clipping issues because it was originally a 4:3 TV screen, but there's no... Hello, lass. There's no game-breaking bugs, there's no...
The fuck was that?
That was me.
It was his fucking phone. But it's like, so there's no like game-breaking bugs in it, so it was really, really fun to play through. Jack, on the other hand, on the PlayStation 4, every single game, apart from the racing one, just has dodgy bugs. But the biggest ones for me is, I was reading online, everyone has issues with the sound glitching on them. And that's one thing I can't really deal with, because it's always like it really messes me over. And like, I would like to play on like an original PlayStation 2, but because I'm streaming it, I'm not going out.
Capture card.
Yeah, I'm not going out spending money on getting adapters from the old SCART lead to a HDMI to throw into the capture card that I'm using, kind of thing. I'm not messing with that. I'll just emulate the good one, the better one, kind of, on the PlayStation 3 and play through there. But it's why I'm not going to do because there was the Sly trilogy as well, which was one of those PlayStation 2 classic mascot platformers. And
which one was that, sorry?
Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus.
Yeah, it was...
totally missed that. I never
played it as a kid.
It was around the same time as Ratchet, Jack, because it was basically the PlayStation 2 had those three. They were the big names for it, for the platforming. Yeah. Sly was, whereas the others were more like action-oriented or platformer-oriented, Sly was more stealth and platformer orientated with puzzles, and it was a really fun game. But I'm only going to play through the first one.
It.
Yeah, I'm only going to play through the first one on stream because the ports for 2 and 3 are again just really, really piss poor ports, and it's like I'll just get frustrated playing them, and I'm not doing that. Not while I'm streaming it, especially, kind of thing. Did you guys ever see the meme about Naughty Dog back way before like Last of Us and stuff? Because they did Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and 3, and then they did Crash Team Racing. They then did Jack 1, 2, and 3, and then they did Jack X, which was Jack Combat Racing.
The racer, yeah.
And then they did Uncharted 1, 2. So everyone started taking the piss saying they do Uncharted 3, then Uncharted Racing.
Uncharted Racing.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did that.
That would just be funny, just for the pattern. If they actually did it.
All they had to do was just add it as like an Easter egg to maybe like the fourth one, where there was like a mini game where it was like there was all in big head mode in little go-karts or something stupid like that, just as a reference.
Find like an arcade machine hidden away somewhere, maybe.
Do you remember like when they like the cheat codes to get like big head mode and shit used to be like the big thing in games all the time? Like, I can remember like the Amazing Spider-Man game where you could do like eel nats, which is Stanley backwards to get like all the missions and everything unlocked.
Yeah,
I can still remember the cheat code to unlock. It was on the GameCube version of Star Wars Red Squadron. Was it Red or Rogue Squadron? I can't remember what it's called.
Rogue Squadron.
Rogue Squadron on GameCube, and I can still remember the cheat. There was a cheat to have a Cadillac, and it was the most. It was a flying Cadillac, and it was the most overpowered thing. And it was like exclamation mark Zuviel exclamation mark, and then it would ask you to put a second code in, which was exclamation mark benzene exclamation mark, and that unlocked the Cadillac. Yeah. And it was just like it had the most powerful guns. It was stupidly fast and agile. It was almost invincible, and it was just like, and the because at the start of every mission, like you'd see your ship like rise up and then like fly out of the hangar, and the Cadillac they even animated so it would float, kind of wonkily fly down the hangar, land, and then just drive out the edge of the hangar. And it was just like it was such a good little like Easter egg cheat. But another one I used to, just going back on like old games having cheats, I loved on N64 GoldenEye. That had big head mode. There was also paintball mode, which was quite fun. And then, of course, there was Time Splitters 2, which had its kind of... You could unlock cheats, but they were more almost like... Well. They were unlockable, but like I think that was also like the start of games having like mutators and stuff like that, because there was like
Time Splitters
do you remember
had like infection and stuff like that, and you could mutate the game modes and stuff.
But there was also on Future Perfect, like there was the game mode where everyone had the monkey gun, if you can remember that.
I never really played Time Splitters 2. I played a lot of Time Splitters 3's single player and a bit of the arcade mode, but the disc I
used to love it.
So I think Time Splitters 2 on PlayStation 3 had like a segmented disc, and it was one of those, I think it was a blue disc or something. So the segment for the multiplayer and the map maker was on a different section that my PlayStation at the time couldn't read.
Did you scratch it?
No, it wasn't the disc. It was the laser. The lasers on the PlayStation 2s would start to die, and they wouldn't be able to read secondary segments on the discs. So if you had like a blue disc PlayStation game, they wouldn't be able to play in those consoles, because I had that happen to two of my PlayStation 2s. Going back with the cheats, there's some cheats I will always remember. I would not be able to say the first one because it was GTA, like Free, Vice City, and San Andreas. I won't be able to tell you what the cheat was, but if you put
you could do it on muscle memory.
If you put a controller in my hand, I could do the weapon cheat like that.
R1L1, R2L2, left, wasn't it like right down, left up, right down, left up?
Yeah, you literally did a circle, because then there was also in Vice City, you could also do R1, L2, whatever that back button combination was, but then it was like you'd do one circle, but then down, right would give you a different tier of weapons, and then you could do it again.
It would give you the mid tier and the high tier.
Yeah, and then you'd do back a circle, I think it was, and you'd get the high tier. So I remember those like a lot.
There was also,
full health and armor as well, I think.
Full health and armor. There was that was another one as well.
And the Rhino tank.
Yep.
The tank, the Hot Ring Racer.
Yes.
Which was like my go-to car to spawn to just get around, because it was really quick. And then sometimes I'd just spawn them over and over. And then there was the Explode All Cars cheat as well.
There was the issue where I think it was Vice City. There's the mission you've got to do where you've got to like basically prep for a heist, and you have to get a getaway driver, and you have to race him. The issue is, he's got, like, obviously the perfect pathing by the AI, and you've got a not very good car. I think it was in a Sabre. So I remember what I used to do for that mission, because you wasn't actually locked to that car. I used to just, during the cutscene, put in the Hot Ring Racer cheat.
Yeah.
That would spawn in front of the cars, quickly get out, get in that one, and then just wipe the floor with him.
Yeah, I used to love that.
The other cheats I remember very, very specifically was Age of Empires 2. Robin Hood for gold, Lumberjack for wood, Pepperoni Pizza for food. I can't remember, Rock On, I think it was for stone. And then you could have the cheat... How do I turn this on? How do I turn this on?
That was it. Yeah, and it was like the most again OP as fuck. Oh,
but that was the funny thing about the Shelby Cobra. The funny thing about the Shelby Cobra cheat was it would let you go above your population cap. So your population cap could be 20, and then you just rock up with 100 Shelby Cobras.
Yeah, it was amazing. They were like unfairly good as well. I need to replay Age of Empires. That was one of those games. I only played it like fairly briefly, and I really enjoyed it. I think it must have been like we probably borrowed it off a friend or something like that. Yeah. But it's one of those games like I really want to go back and play like the OG one, because I did play Star Wars Empire at War, which was just Star Wars Age of Empires basically.
Oh yeah, exactly the same.
That was very good. I borrowed that off a friend and I lost the disc, and I still feel guilty about it to this day. I actually tried to gift him it on Steam as like a sorry years later, but he already had it on Steam. I was like, damn it, I tried to do something nice. But
he was there. I think he was there like, look at this bastard trying to send me this game again, even after
I couldn't. It wouldn't let me gift it. If you try and gift someone a game they already have, it'll just tell you that it's already in their library and won't let you do it. But that's something I was like, oh. But I wish games.
Sorry, Ryan, because I know obviously Ryan, you're younger than me. You're younger than Ollie, because I know it was probably around the transition from PlayStation 2 over to PlayStation 3. And it was in that transition where cheats kind of just disappeared. All the fun,
I can't think of many
cheats disappeared in like Xbox 360 and PS3, definitely.
Especially in the form of like entering like button combinations,
yeah, like
GTA 4 still had them in you could call certain numbers for them.
Yeah.
But even then, the cheats weren't. There wasn't half as many cheats. Like there was like the flying cars cheat. There was the cheat to like make the bodies fly away.
It wasn't the same as when your mate had come over with a fucking A4 sheets of paper.
You would. Well, another one was either you'd get the game magazines, and they'd always have the cheat pages with all like the common cheats for all like the popular games.
We used to print them off.
Yeah,
in his dad's office, we'd print them all off, and we'd have this A4 sheets worth of fucking codes. Yeah. We'd be like, "Quickly, get me the code for this." I'd be like,
and then another thing as well is that gone.
No, you can't. What you was gonna say?
I was just going to say, there was always as well, the problem with those was that people would just make up cheats.
Yeah.
I remember, because I was a gullible fucking kid back then, it was Super Smash Brothers Melee, and someone said you could get Goku on it by doing like this really hard thing, and I actually did it, and then obviously it never happened, but I was just like, I can't remember what it was. It was something like you had to defeat it on like the hardest difficulty without dying once, and we actually tried it and nothing happened, even though we actually pulled off this stupidly hard task.
Yeah, I think one of the going a bit. I think it was a bit earlier than Smash for me was Tomb Raider. Obviously, Tomb Raider.
See, I didn't play much Tomb Raider.
Well, the thing is, when Tomb Raider came out...
Oh, the naked Lara cheat. I remember you saying that.
Everyone had Tomb Raider, and everyone was saying there's a naked Lara cheat. So the developers literally looked at what people were saying was the naked Lara cheat, put it into the second game, so when you put in the code, there was two forms. One of the naked Lara cheats would cause her to explode. Like, literally her body would explode into millions of bits. The second one would just remove her textures. So she's naked, but there's no texture, so she's just like a wireframe model kind of thing. She's naked, though.
Yeah, I was going to take like the clothes parts off, but there's nothing underneath kind of thing.
Well, literally, her texture would disappear. She'd go, like, invisible. Because, like, obviously all her clothing textures at the time... her entire body was one texture.
One skin, yeah.
So that was all they did. They just removed the texture for the cheat instead.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever remember using
Game Sharks?
Like GameFAQs. I used Game Sharks.
GameFAQs. I probably did, yeah. I
made the mistake once when I was on GameFAQs. I was playing a game that a lot of people of RPGs don't really like, and it was Star Ocean. I think it was called The End of Time, or Till the End of Time. It was the first Star Ocean game I played. People don't like it because of the twist that happens in it, where it's like, the game's like fucking years old now. If you're worried about spoilers, fuck you at this point. It turns out that basically the entire Milky Way is actually a program being run in the fourth dimension. It was kind of a weird way they did it. I didn't care about that. I liked the combat, but I remember there were certain puzzles in certain dungeons, and I couldn't fucking do this one puzzle to get this one side thing done. So I went and looked at GameFAQs, and I was like, alright, I want to print off this. Dumb fucking young kid me printed the entire FAQ. It was 180 pages long.
Pages and pages and pages and pages.
Where the fuck's all the bleeding paper from the printer gone?
It just didn't stop reeling out, and I was like, I don't know what to fucking do. So I just let it print it all, and then I now have the entire guide to the Star Ocean just sat in my room.
If you, honestly, God, if you'd still got that, like, together as one, like, just in a box somewhere, I'd have been like...
if I should have, like, ring bound it with those, like, pipe cleaner type things.
Yeah. That's it. Or a folder or something.
Do you remember, like, I never used Game Sharks, but I used to have a...
I had a Game Shark.
I had the one for the Nintendo DS, which was called... let me find it. DS.
You can always...
What games I played it with?
Well, I mean, I think we spoke about this, like, off podcast, but I had to use Game Shark on PlayStation 1 because, let's face it, everyone in the UK had a chipped PlayStation 1.
I did it.
I didn't.
See, you're the first person I've met who had a PlayStation 1 that didn't have it chipped. Literally everyone I knew had chipped PlayStation 1s. But do you want to know what that also enforces for me?
Because we couldn't afford it, and then
do you want to know what that enforces for me? How middle class you are.
What? No, I literally had like 4 games. I had like 4 or 5 games, and that was it. And then it broke.
I couldn't afford the games.
It was water polo. It was going out to pony tracks.
On the PlayStation 1, I had The Amazing Spider-Man. I had
that was a good
Tom
game.
and Jerry. That was the best one I've ever played on there. Tom and Jerry.
That was good.
My dad had like the Colin McRae games on there, and like rally games.
They were good games.
Oh, I went back and tried to play it, and I was like, it's just not the same. And I can remember the graphics being like HD when I was a kid, and obviously you go back and they're not, and you're like...
The only thing I remember from Colin McRae was when you would, in between the races, you had to repair the car, and it was just based on seconds. So you had to, I'll have 2 seconds on the front of the car, 2 seconds on the wheels of the car. Did you ever play Demolition Derby on PlayStation 1?
Yes!
No, it was Demolition Derby 1 and Demolition Derby 2, and you'd have to go into the pits, and it was kind of similar like how you'd have to pick a segment of the car and repair it, and you basically had like 4 seconds in the pit, so the whole idea was select a section of the car, spam X as much as you can, and all it used to be is just spamming X, going back and forth across the car to repair it as much as you could.
Oh man, that was good.
My dad was really good at Colin McRae, and he'd always like get really far, but I could never get past like the first level.
To be fair, back then, like, because I never used to really like racing games, because like I'd try and play like Gran Turismo, and I just couldn't do it. But back before, it's hard to explain, but like back before there were analog sticks and, you know, progressive triggers for throttle, racing games were fucking hard, like really hard, because it's like all your inputs were binary. So throttle on, throttle off, brake on,
engine go.
Well, it was like it was back then. It was even on PlayStation 2 era, it was X and square. X was go, square was brake.
It was brake,
and it was only, I think, the first game I played that used triggers for the accelerator and brakes was Project Gotham Racing on the Xbox 360.
Project Gotham on Xbox did it as well. PGR2 on the original Xbox also did that.
PGR3 was the one. That was the first one I played.
That was also a very good game.
I fucking loved that game. I spent so many hours. I loved
PGR3.
I think the thing I loved about it is you had all the little places you could buy and actually store cars.
You had to, and you had to buy. What I used to love as well was like you could go through the garage and it would like you could walk through into like the area of all the supercars and it's like, oh, you need this many gold and platinum. Oops, excuse me, so that's my alarm saying time to go to bed. It used to have like
that's it, podcast's over.
That's it, bye guys.
All of a sudden his mum walks in cracking the leather belt.
The belt. I go to bed. But I used to love like going into the area and seeing all like the cars like back then because you needed like all these like it's kind of thing like if I was to play a game now I'd be like, oh yeah, well I'll just I'll go to gold and platinum all the races, whatever. But as a kid when you weren't as good, it was just like all those hypercars really were just like almost like unobtainable, like just like looking at them like, oh, I wish I could drive these. And it was like
the thing I liked about it as well is like it had loads of concept cars in it as well. There was like a weird.
It was awesome.
It was like
same with Gran Turismo.
It was like the Ford GT70 or something. I can't remember.
The GT90.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was. I think
all triangular.
Yes, it was like, as you can tell, they took triangles very seriously in this car's design. Like everything was a triangle in that car, and then they had
so weird.
There was one. There was a few cars I specifically remember. One was it was literally called the Sledgehammer Twin Turbo, and it had over 1,000 horsepower, no grip, no turning capabilities.
It was the roof, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
The tuned Porsche 911. It was ridiculous.
Oh no, it wasn't that. It literally just looked like an American old style car, but had over 1,000 horsepower. I'll have to try and find it and send it you. But I remember
I played that game. I remember.
Well, I used to take it onto the New York map because you could have it with the bridge, and literally the entire race was go over the bridge, go around, come back over, and you could get max speeds on the bridge. It
was the Callaway Sledgehammer. It was heavily modified Corvette.
I'm sorry, boys, but you can't talk about racing games on old consoles without talking about Need for Speed 2. Need for Speed... Underground 2. That was
Underground 2.
Oh no! See, for me,
neons on my cars. Slap neons on my cars. Now I can't get a game where I can stick neons on my cars. Why can't I stick neon lights on my cars?
It's because they're trash.
Forza, answer this question now. Why the fuck can I not put neons on my cars?
See, I wasn't an Underground 2 guy. Mine was my main Need for Speed game that I thoroughly loved was Most Wanted. That was the one I spent.
Most Wanted was good. Yeah, I played that after Need for Speed Underground 2. I enjoyed that. I always borrowed these off my friend across the road, who was richer than me. It was literally Battlefront 2 borrowed off him. Need for Speed games borrowed off him. Tony Hawk borrowed off him. Never had them myself.
For me, my favourite Need for Speed game was Hot Pursuit 2. Definitely Hot Pursuit 2.
I don't think I ever played the.
I didn't play the Hot Pursuit.
That was one of the older ones. Yeah. Because they revived it later on PS4, but I mean the original Hot Pursuit 2.
Yeah.
Because they revived Hot Pursuit.
Recently, I think.
It was a couple years.
They tried to. They did like I think all the racing games. So like, there's a few of the old ones are still trying to like stay relevant, but really it's just between Forza and what's the PlayStation one?
Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo.
Yeah, it's literally just between those two, like on consoles.
Yeah, I absolutely fucking adored Gran Turismo 3 growing up. I spent countless hours.
3 and 4.
See, I never played 4. For me, it was 2 and 3.
Actually, no, hold on.
I loved 2 because it had a used car market. So your first car was like
as well.
You could either go to a shop and get a cheap car that wasn't very good for racers, but work your way up, or you could scour the used car market, and sometimes, if RNGesus was your friend, you could find like a Nissan Skyline with cheap enough for you to buy with your starter money. But I remember GT3, and there was the very, very first race, which was just in that bowl, where it was just a slightly tight curve and then a wider curve, and that's all it was. It was like a NASCAR bowl, but with slightly variances on the sizes of the course, and you earned, I think it was 20,000 or 2,000 credits every win on that race. And I remember for some dumb, stupid reason, I couldn't beat the racers at the higher level with any of the cars I had to earn more money. So I literally spent, I'm probably talking like a day or two easily, just repeating that race over and over and over and over.
Was it the one where you were in an Indy car on the oval?
No, this was like it was an open race, so you could use any car. But it was just an oval, but one oval was slightly tighter than the other. That was the very first racetrack you had.
Was it like it was like 100 laps, wasn't it, or something like that? I remember the very
first race was just 3 laps of that one, and that was the very first race you had in GT3. And I did that for days to save up and get the Jag XJ220 road car, and that car was worth like $1 million or something in that game.
Yeah,
and I did that race earning 2,000 credits a pop until I got the Jag. I don't know why I did it.
So good. Such a good game.
I loved that. That XJ220 was probably like my dream car for at least 10 years.
Same.
After playing that
definitely
game.
And the McLaren F1.
See, the McLaren F1 never really pulled me in. Not gonna lie.
Oh man, that was like as a kid, that was the car. Like, I used to print out pictures of it and cut them out and stuff. Just like, that was my dream car, McLaren F1. Definitely. But man, it's weird. Like, obviously a lot of it will be nostalgia, but I think it's just like games just don't have that kind of charm to them anymore. I don't know. Like, even going back now, like, there's something about how they were done. I guess it's almost like games have become so optimized now that they're all quite similar because there's just like a certain pattern that works. So like you come to expect the same features, but back then I guess people were still like working it out, and there were probably features that were probably a bit dumb and didn't work great, but then they tried so many new features. Like the used car market where just it was RNG with what could come up. Like I remember you could get a TVR on the one. You couldn't buy them in the store. You could only get them in the used cars for some reason. It was a TVR Cerbera, and it was just like, I don't know. I just thought it was really cool. Just like a random car that you can't buy.
Yeah.
I just thought that was really cool.
I think the thing is, it's like way back then. It was like you said, it was the Wild West of games. Control schemes weren't like, if you jumped into a first-person shooter now and Square or X on the Xbox wasn't reload, everyone would be complaining that the controls are weird.
Yeah. Or if Y or triangle wasn't change weapon or something like that.
Yeah.
Because of everyone has this idea of standardized controls. And that's good because it means you can very easily jump between games of the same type.
Consoles and games.
But it also was a massive detriment because it made it so barely any console games at the time let you modify your controls. And it pissed me off because I like to modify them to fit my needs. Whenever I play Devil May Cry, the first thing that gets changed for me is shoot your gun gets taken off of square and gets put on L1. And that's usually the devil trigger. I swap square and L1 mainly because, well, I want to always have access to shoot and charge up my gun while still being able to press triangle to use my sword. I don't need to press triangle and devil trigger at the same time. So I'll put devil trigger on square and then I've got access to more of the combat abilities. And I've done that for every single Devil May Cry, and it's worked a treat for me. If they took those options away from me, I would have a massive detriment in the game.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
I think
another thing was also...
Go on.
No, go ahead. No, we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah, I was just about to say we do need to wrap up.
No, go ahead, it's fine.
But yeah, so it's been a fun one. We completely went off the rails at the beginning because my food. We was planning to
talking about fast food.
Yeah, we was planning to talk about something that we ended up finally talking about right at the beginning, but my food obviously took precedent because monkey hungry.
Monkey.
But anyway, we'd like to thank everyone for watching, everyone for listening. We did actually get through the whole podcast without having to close the stream off, which is good, because dumb monkey brain forgot to record locally, so that's always helpful that the stream actually worked.
Oh, Jesus, this could have gone wrong.
But anyway,
too busy thinking about food.
I was hungry. Monkey hungry. You don't understand, like, I used to fucking hate the word hangry, but I now understand that is what I get 100%.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
Why do I feel the judging eyes of you guys as soon as...
Oh, no, I totally understand that. I totally get it.
Control your stomach, monkey. Become one with it.
Return to monkey.
Return to monkey.
Seek banana.
Well, we're going to close off for the day, so if you want to see more of my antics, you can always come back to the stream Wednesdays, Thursdays and Fridays and follow me on Twitter at KTOasis. Ryan, do you want to plug your shit?
It's somewhere. I'm too tired to think about where my stuff is right now.
Oh, is this because of too much?
No.
Yeah.
Don't call me out like this, bro.
Watch it again. 3 more times. 3 more.
Wait. I'll do the remix.
God, he can't handle that much.
God damn, the underside of this desk is like super glue.
Moving swiftly on. Ollie,
get
do
the
you have
tissue,
anything?
I'm doing paper mache.
So if you want to get in contact with us on the podcast, you can tweet at us.
Whoa. Ollie, do you want to plug anything?
No.
He's got a new paper mache group that he's starting on Wednesdays.
That'll do. There you
There
go.
we go.
Wow,
Captain Crack
I didn't
Scooch.
realise you got the patch made.
Yeah, I've got a few.
Oh, whoa. Where do we buy? Can we buy these?
There was only a couple made by one of my friends. I've got one on my top that's over there. If you look at the pictures on my Instagram, you'll see it's on my sleeve.
Yeah, I've seen
And this is the spare one, which will probably go on my shooting bag or something like that. But yeah, I might get some more made, depending
Well,
on if
people
want them.
couldn't quite read that on the stream, so it'll be Captain
Crack's Shooting Shack.
Yep, on Instagram. And with that as well,
And
if you
Captain
want to...
Crack's shaven sack on OnlyFans.
on Only
Is it
Lads.
just premium shaving videos where you just
I
shave
meant
your
to add,
balls?
just for shits and giggles, I have bought the domain onlyguns.co.uk. So I put random shit on that.
Wait, I need to look. Only guns.
I don't know what's on it at the moment. I think at the moment it's what have I put on it at the moment? It's a joke relating to the shooting server I'm in at the moment. So if you're not in that server, it will make no sense.
I just see the meme of the guy looking back at the other girl.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We basically had a thing of using the gender swap. Basically, the guy whose face has been morphed on the right, that's him gender swapped on the left.
Oh, fair enough.
That's the joke, basically.
Fair enough. Well, if you want to send us shitposts and memes, you can do that at Context Needed 1 on Twitter. More formal forms of correspondence, you will have to contact us for instructions, which will be contextneededuk@gmail.co.uk. We will send out an official formal list. It is long, it is scrupulous, and any failure to follow these rules will make you be cast into the Shadow Realm instantly.
Yeah.
But with that, we are going to close off for the day. We'd like to thank everyone for listening, everyone for watching. If anyone's listening elsewhere, please do come by the Twitter, follow us on there. We'd like to get some more followers there for any updates or news about the channel. But from that, my name's been Kyle, joined with Ryan and Ollie, and we would like to bid you adieu.
Yeah.
Good day.
Not.
Don't forget to pee after sex, Ryan.
Always pee after sex, kids.